you've put $150 million of your own money into what will be a super PAC, and you want Congress to mainly focus on inversions, basically to have companies come back to the United States and not be, as you call it, double taxed for the money that they bring back to this country. How much money have you calculated will put into the coffers of American government if we were to see that change?
Well, I think 200 to 250 billion will just come in. And the thing is, it's sort of a no-brainer. You know, when you make an investment, sometimes you find those. You can't really understand why anybody is against doing this in the government. And everyone I've spoken to, everybody in Washington I've spoken to say, yes, good idea, but they don't do anything. And interestingly, you're the first to know this. I just got a call about 5 minutes ago from Harry Reid, who said to me, and I know him for years, not well, but I know him, and he said, hey, Carl, we're 100% for this. I could deliver over 40 Democrats for this. We don't want these inversions. And as we both said, it's terrible for the country, and it is very scary for the country, actually, Poppy, because it's almost insane not to do this, because perversely, you're getting the opposite of what you want here. You're getting the 1%, the rich 1% make money on these inversions, some of them, because some of these big hedge funds, not all of them, but the short-termists that people don't like, are, you know, pressuring companies to do this because they get a fast premium. So they make a lot of money, and the foreign country makes a lot of money. And, again, the American people left holding the bag. And why nothing is done about it is beyond my knowledge or understanding. But everyone says do it, and yet it's not done. So I believe it's time to say who's to blame for not getting this legislation, simple legislation. We're not going into a complicated tax deal. We're just saying, hey, look, bring the money back. We argue with these companies, say, you know, you pay 8% or something like that. And honestly, the companies are right. They shouldn't be paying anything, because in any other country of the world, if you're making widgets in another country and producing them there, you don't have to pay a double tax on it. And yet we keep saying that these companies should pay a double tax, and yet I think they will pay that $200 billion.
Those that criticize the Citizens United decision that allows super PACs to run, or those that criticize super PACs, say folks like you, Carl Icahn, who are billionaires, have a louder voice in Washington than the average American. And Joe Biden talked about that today when he said he's not running for president. Is this an example, Carl Icahn, is this an example of you having more power in politics in Washington because of your wallet than the average American?
No, I don't think that applies. I don't think Biden was speaking about that. The criticism of Citizens United was it was sort of a secret kind of organization where nobody knew what they were doing, nobody knew what was happening. But I don't think anybody is against somebody like myself who's made a lot of money and feels I got a responsibility to voice what I believe should be done. And if you don't think that, speak out against me. But I want to have a voice because it's so crazy what you're doing. And by the way, I think very few disagree that the Senate and Congress, the Congress is at a gridlock, doing nothing, and it's terrible for this country what's going on. They can't get anything done, but this is the quintessential example of it. And I think more people like me should be coming out and saying, hey, here's a problem, and here's how we're going to try to fix it. And I'm the opposite of Citizens United, because the criticism of Citizens United, and the Supreme Court voted against that criticism, was, hey, this is like a stealth organization. Nobody knows what they're doing. Right. It's all done in secret, and we don't know why they're doing it. With me, you know what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying.
And you have pledged to tell us all the people that put money into this fund. So that'll be interesting to hear who else jumps on.
Well, wait, hold on. I put in $150 million. I'm committing $150 million. I'm not telling you. I'm not even asking people to do it at this point. And if they do it, they're going to have their name in there. They're not going to do it, you know, quietly. They're going to do it and put their name in. And if they don't do it, you know, so what? Hey, look, I love this country. I came up from the streets of Queens. I couldn't have done it anywhere else, and it sounds corny. I don't need their money. So I can do it, and that's what I'm doing.
All right, Carl Icahn will be watching, and who knows if Donald Trump does make it to the general election and it is nominated and becomes the next president, you might be our next secretary. We know Treasury Secretary. We know he wants you for the job.
That you can count on. That's 100%. But I will tell you that we do need somebody like Donald Trump from the outside here, because look at the problems that you're having now in Washington. You have these two sides dug in. They don't know how to compromise. And you know what? They think I'm a good negotiator. You know, it's very simple to be a good negotiator. Know when to make a deal. Know when to compromise and stop this intransigence. And the irony of it all is that they say, in Congress, they say, oh, our principles are more important. But you know what? I really mean it. I mean this with all respect. The principles it's ironic that the principles they say that they want to back, it's the opposite happening. The Federal Reserve has so damn much power, the government has just put $4 trillion in through the Federal Reserve, and the Federal Reserve doesn't even want the power. And to their credit, they're saying, hey, bring in some fiscal stimulus. I mean, the whole thing is really an absurdity. It's something out of Alice in Wonderland.
Carl,
and I think we can stop it, hopefully.